Ma'am, shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah, very good morning, guys. Hmm, So, you know already, today we are going to take a full test, right? A full listening test. Uh, so, before that, let me share a few tips regarding this listening. So, please listen carefully. So, in this listening test, I'll repeat again about the duration, the timing, the paths and everything. So, in this listening test, uh, doubts?
Yeah, and Prakasham Ajay Kumar got doubt, ma'am.
Yes, he is
Ma'am,
asking
if you
some
want
stuff.
to share the screen, I will give permission, sir. You want to share it screen, ma'am?
Screen. Yes, ma'am. Let me share. After completion of this tips, I'll share my screen.
Okay,
Then I'll
okay,
start
then.
the class.
Okay,
అజయ్
ma'am.
కుమార్ గారికి ఏదో డౌట్ ఉందండి ఇందాక నుంచి అడుగుతున్నారు.
Okay, I will unmute him.
Is it about listening?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్ అది నిన్న రిజిస్టర్ అమ్మన్నారు కదా ఈలెన్ ఓక్లో
Yes. అవునండి.
రిజిస్టర్ అయ్యాను కానీ అది కోర్స్ ఏమి ఓపెన్ అవ్వట్లేదు నేను మెటీరియల్స్ కానీ ప్రీవియస్ క్లాసెస్ కానీ ఏమి చూపించట్లేదు
రేపు పంపిస్తామండి. రేపు అందులో ఏమైనా రికార్డింగ్ ఫైల్స్ కానీ ఫుల్ టెస్ట్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే కనుక రేపు ఫ్రైడే కదా రేపు అన్నీ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాం సార్.
అంటే ఇక్కడ కదా మ్యామ్ ఈలెన్ ఓక్లో
ఈడానోక్లో ఉన్నాయి. మీరు ఇందులో ఉన్నారా? టెలిగ్రామ్లో ఉన్నారా మీరు?
టెలిగ్రామ్లో ఉన్నాను.
నిన్న కొన్ని పోస్ట్ చేశాను, మనం డిస్కస్ చేసినవన్నీ దాంట్లో పోస్ట్ చేశాను. ఇంకా రిమైనింగ్ టెస్ట్ మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయడానికి అన్నీ కూడా మీకు ఈడానోక్లో పోస్ట్ చేస్తాం, అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాం మేము ఫ్రైడే కానీ సాటర్డే కానీ.
అండ్ మా మిస్సెస్ వచ్చేసి డేటా సైన్స్ ఆఫ్ చేసుకుంది, తనకి కూడా రిజిస్టర్ అయింది. తన డేటా సైన్స్ అంటే ఎక్కడ చూడాలి అనేది ఒకటి డౌట్ వచ్చింది తనకి.
ఒకసారి ఆ ట్రైనర్ని అడగమనండి సార్, అంటే వాళ్ళకి మాకు ఇది ఉండదు, కనెక్షన్ ఉండదు. ఒకసారి
అంటే వెబ్సైట్ లో అక్కడ ఆప్షన్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఈ
రిజిస్టర్
చూడాలని.
జస్ట్ రిజిస్టర్ అయిపోయి ఉండమని చెప్పండి. ఎప్పుడు అప్లోడ్ అవుతాయి అనేది వాళ్ళు ట్రైనర్ చెప్తారు. ఎప్పుడు అప్లోడ్ చేస్తామో ఫైల్స్ అనేవి ట్రైనర్ చెప్తారు. జస్ట్ రిజిస్టర్ అయ్యి అయితే ఉండండి.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ దట్.
Yes. So guys, let's start. So in this listening test, what's the duration? So what is the duration? It is 40 minutes, right? Hey, not 60 minutes, it's 40 minutes. Somebody said 60 minutes. So the duration is 40 minutes and 30 minutes will be your test, and extra 10 minutes will be giving to you to transfer your answers to your OMR sheet. Okay, 30 plus 10, 40 minutes. So in this 30 minutes, what we have to do? So you need to listen, read, file, you need to read the questions, and you have to write your answers.
I think ma'am got some technical issue. She will join soon. Yeah. Sure. Hello, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, disconnect ayindi.
Okay, ma'am.
Sorry, guys. Okay. So, okay, I'll start from the beginning. Okay. So in this listening test, as you said, the duration is 40 minutes. 30 minutes will be your test, and extra 10 minutes to transfer your answers, right? So in that 30 minutes, what you have to do? You have to listen to the recording file, and you have to read the questions. and you have to write your answers in the question paper. So this all have to done almost at the same time. Okay, so they need to actually what they want to do test is they want to test your concentration and ability to manage your time. So you need to read the question before you listen to the recording file. As I said before the recording start, they'll give few seconds to read the given questions. You have some time to look at questions 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So then please use the time to read the given questions. It is very important. Okay. And also, as soon as you see the task, try to read all the questions before the recording starts. So for example, if the time is like this, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. Then you have to read all the questions 1 to 6. Just underline the main keywords. Main keywords. Okay. So before the recording starts, come to the beginning and look at first and second questions before the recording starts. Okay. సో వాళ్ళు టైం ఇచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు 1 to 6 క్వశ్చన్స్ చూడమన్నప్పుడు 1 to 6 క్వశ్చన్స్ చూడండి. ఎప్పుడైతే రికార్డింగ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది బిగినింగ్ కి వచ్చేసి ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ చూడండి. ఎందుకు అంటే వినడానికి రెడీగా ఉండండి. ఓకేనా. నెక్స్ట్, ఆఫ్టర్ ఆన్సరింగ్ ఆల్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్, ఆఫ్టర్ ఆన్సరింగ్ one part, as we have 4 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So after answering the first part, you have some time to check your answers. Okay, 1 to 10 questions మీరు ఆన్సర్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఒక మళ్ళీ few seconds they'll give some time to check your answers. So don't do that. Don't check your answers because we have extra 10 minutes. Then you can check your answers. Okay, so what we have to do? So you have to read the upcoming questions. So if it is part screen inka share cheyaledu, just I am discussing the tips. After completion of this, I'll share my screen. Okay, so what I'm saying, yes, so you have some time to check your answers, but don't do that. Immediately go to the upcoming questions and keep on reading the questions and underline the main keywords. Okay, మీకు ఎప్పుడైతే చెక్ చేయండి అని ఒక టైం ఇచ్చారో అది దేనికి యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి? అప్కమింగ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ చదువుకోవడానికి యూజ్ చేయాలి, గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ఓకేనా. సో ఇన్ దిస్ టుడేస్ క్లాస్ I think there is a task type called map. So I want to explain that. I will explain in the middle of the session. Okay. And the main important point is always keep an eye on 2 questions. For example, if you are going to answer the first question, you should look at the second question too, the next question, because అది ఫస్ట్ మిస్ అయిపోయింది అనుకోండి. The time of checking questions, audio is available time. మీరు చెక్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇంకా ఏమీ ప్లే అవ్వకుండా కొంత టైం మీకు ఉంచుతారు చెక్ చేసుకోవడానికి. ఆ చెక్ చేయొద్దు. మీరు ఏంటంటే అప్కమింగ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అనేది చదవండి. బికాస్ మనకి 10 minutes ఉంది కదా, అప్పుడు మీరు చెక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. నేను చూపిస్తాను, స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇంకా చూపిస్తాను. సో మనకి ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఉంది, 2 questions ఉన్నాయి. సో మీరు ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ మీద కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేయకుండా సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ మీద కూడా చూస్తూ ఉండాలి. బికాస్ అది మిస్ అయ్యిందా అనేది ఐడియా ఉంటుంది. అది మిస్ అయిపోయింది అనుకోండి, సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ మీద కాన్సన్ట్రేట్ చేస్తారు. పోయింది 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 అంటే మిగతా కూడా పోతాయి. ఓకేనా. చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా చూసుకోండి అన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్. నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ కూడా ఒకసారి చూస్తూ ఉండాలి. అండ్ as I said, you have to underline the main key points. It's very important so that you can locate them more easily. You can locate the answer more easily. Okay. Yes, don't leave any question unanswered. So in this IELTS examination, there is no negative marking. Negative marking antu emi ledu. So ఏ క్వశ్చన్ కూడా వదలొద్దు. Just ఏదో ఒకటి రాయండి, ఓకేనా? And as I said yesterday, the opinion will be always changing. Okay, so I for example, this is my opinion. Some Jack said this is yes, I want to choose this option. After some time he'll say, uh, okay, I don't want to, I'm not interested in this, I want to choose that particular one, another. So in this way the opinion will be changing. Please concentrate on that too. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ చెప్పిందే ఆన్సర్ అనుకోవద్దు. కొన్నిసార్లు ఒపీనియన్ చేంజ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు, అది కూడా జాగ్రత్తగా చూసుకోండి. అండ్ పే అటెన్షన్ టు సింగులర్ ఆర్ ప్లూరల్ నౌన్స్. సింగులర్ ఎస్ పెట్టాలి, అవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా. సింగులర్ ప్లూరల్ కి చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాలి. మరి సింగులరా ప్లూరలా అని ఎలా పెట్టాలి అంటే కనుక, జస్ట్ ఏదో ఒకటి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ లో మీరు ఏదో ఒకటి పెట్టేయండి, సింగులర్ ప్లూరల్ ఏదో ఒకటి పెట్టేయండి. ఆఫ్టర్ దాట్ when you are checking your answer, read the whole sentence. If you read the whole sentence, then see whether it is grammatically correct or not. అక్కడ సింగులర్ సూట్ అవుతుందా, ప్లూరల్ వర్డ్ అనేది సూట్ అవుతుందా అనేది, గ్రామటికల్ గా కరెక్ట్ అవుతుందా లేదో చూడండి. అండ్ స్పెల్లింగ్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. స్పెల్లింగ్స్, సో చెక్ యువర్ స్పెల్లింగ్స్, ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, అండ్ when it comes to telephone number, సో కొన్నిసార్లు ఫామ్ కంప్లీషన్ లో మీకు టెలిఫోన్ నెంబర్ ఎక్కువ సార్లు రిపీట్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. వాళ్ళు జీరోని జీరో అనరు, సో దే విల్ ప్రొనౌన్స్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఓ. జీరోని ఓ అని అంటారు. ఓ అంటే జీరో అని అర్థం. ఓకే, అండ్ ఆల్రెడీ మీకు ఐడియానే ఉంటుంది, డబల్ ఎల్, ఎల్ అని చెప్పరు, డబల్ ఎల్ అని కానీ, ట్రిపుల్ ఎల్ అని కానీ, 888 అని కానీ చెప్తారు. అది కూడా కొంచెం చూడండి. అండ్ yes, so these are the main important points that you have to remember. So let's start our full test, full listening test. So let me share my screen. Is it difficult? చేశాక చూద్దరు కానీ, చేశాక చెప్పండి డిఫికల్ట్ ఆర్ ఈజీ అనేది. ఓకే, yes. So please write your answers. You should have a book with you, book or pen or pencil with you.
Ma'am, please disable that enhance. Okay. Ma'am, is chat is needed to this test, ma'am? Chat box.
చాట్ బాక్స్ అంటే మధ్యలో అసలు ఆపం కదండి, అది అక్కర్లేదు.
అవసరం లేదా మ్యామ్? అయితే డిజేబుల్ చేసేయమంటారా?
చేసేయండి, బికాస్ మధ్యలో మనం ఆపం, కంటిన్యూస్ గా జరుగుతూనే ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఏదైనా ఆడియోలో ఏదైనా కొంచెం డిస్టర్బెన్స్ వస్తే కనుక
నేను చెప్తాను మ్యామ్.
So guys, see here. Ma'am, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is first part. As we have 4 parts in listening, this is your first part. This is second part. Second part. What is this? This is called a map. Okay, map. See here, there are a few questions, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So just, you have to listen to that recording carefully and they'll guide you. Where is scarecrow? Is it near A or is it near B or C or D or what? Okay, so you have to listen to that carefully. Beside, behind, okay, across, left, right. Okay, so they'll guide you accordingly. You have to answer to these questions. Okay, no problem. I'll give one example. I'll explain one example, and you have to answer the remaining questions. What is this? Multiple choice questions, MCQs. Okay, so the options are long, isn't it? It's too lengthy. So you have to read the questions before the recording starts. It's very important. So the third section, third part, 10 questions are multiple choice questions. And the last section, fourth part is note completion. And again, there are 10 questions. Overall, there are 40 questions. So please listen carefully and answer to all the given questions. And before that, you have to read the instructions. What are the instructions here? One word and or a number. Okay, don't write 2 words. You have to write only 1 word, and even you can use a number. Okay, so let's start.
Cambridge English, IELTS 11, Tests 1 to 4. Published by Cambridge University Press
Ma'am, is it audible?
Yes, ma'am. It is all.
and Cambridge English Language Assessment 2016. This recording is copyright. CD 1. Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between an official at a village hall and a woman who wants to hire a public room. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Read the questions 1 to 6.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
I forgot to say one thing. So here you have one example, right? The main hall seats 200. It's an example. But from 2020, they made some changes in this listening test. So this example was removed. Okay. So if you take examination now, after from Jan 2020, so you'll not get any sort of example in this listening test. So the recording will start from first question. Okay. So please don't wait for that example because this example was removed.
I wanted to inquire about hiring a room in the village hall for the evening of September the 1st.
Let me just see. Yes, we have both rooms available that evening. There's our main hall, that's got seating for 200 people, or there's the Charlton room.
The main hall seats 200, so 200 has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Hello?
Oh, hello. I wanted to inquire about hiring a room in the village hall for the evening of September the 1st.
Let me just see. Yes, we have both rooms available that evening. There's our main hall, that's got seating for 200 people, or there's the Charlton room.
Sorry?
The Charlton room, CHARLTON. That's got seating for up to 100.
Well, we're organising a dinner to raise money for a charity, and we're hoping for at least 150 people. So, I think we'll go for the main hall. How much would that cost?
Let's see. You wanted it for the evening of September the 1st?
Yes, that's a Saturday.
So from 6 p.m. to midnight, that'd be £115. That's the weekend price. It's £75 on weekdays.
That's all right.
And I have to tell you, there's also a deposit of £250, which is returnable, of course, as long as there's no damage. But we do insist that this is paid in cash. We don't take cards for that. You can pay the actual rent of the room however you like, though. Cash, credit card, cheque.
Oh, well, I suppose that's okay. So, does the charge include use of tables and chairs and so on?
Oh, yes.
And what about parking?
Yeah, that's all included. The only thing that isn't included is, you said you were organising a dinner?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to pay extra for the kitchen if you want to use that. It's £25. It's got very good facilities, good quality cookers and fridges and so on.
OK. Well, I suppose that's all right. We can cover the cost in our entry charges.
Right, so I'll make a note of that. Now, there are just one or two things you need to think about before the event. For example, you'll have to see about getting a licence if you're planning to have any music during the meal.
Oh, really?
It's quite straightforward. I'll give you the details later on. And about a week or 10 days before your event, you'll need to contact the caretaker, that's Mr. Evans, to make the arrangements for entry. He'll sort that out with you.
And do I give him the payment as well?
No, you do that directly with me.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Right. Now, is there anything I need to know about what happens during the event?
Well, as you'll be aware, of course, the building is no smoking throughout.
Of course.
Now, are you having a band?
Yes.
Well, they'll have a lot of equipment, so rather than using the front door, they should park their van round the back and use the stage door there. You can open that from inside, but don't forget to lock it at the end.
OK.
And talking of bands, I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but you must make sure that no one fiddles about with the black box by the fire door. That's a system that cuts in when the volume reaches a certain level. It's a legal requirement.
Sure. Anyway, we want people to be able to talk to one another, so we don't want anything too loud. Oh, that reminds me. We'll be having speeches. Are there any microphones available?
Yep, just let the caretaker know. He'll get those for you. Right, now, when the event is over, we do ask that the premises are left in good condition. So there's a locked cupboard, and you'll be informed of the code you need to open that. It's got all the cleaning equipment, brushes and detergent and so on.
Right. So what do we need to do after everyone's gone? Sweep the floors, I suppose?
Well, actually, they have to be washed, not just swept. Then you'll be provided with black plastic bags, so all the rubbish must be collected up and left outside the door.
Of course. We'll make sure everything's left tidy. Oh, and I forgot to ask. I presume we can have decorations in the room?
Yes, but you must take them down afterwards.
Sure.
And the chairs and tables should be stacked up neatly at the back of the room.
I'll make sure I've got a few people to help me.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Half a minute to check your answers. So don't check your answers. No need to check your answers. Just go to the next part. Okay, you have to see this one. Just read the upcoming questions. Upcoming questions is nothing but second part. Okay, so you have to read these questions. You have to utilize that time for this. Please remember this, because if you take paper based, you will be having 10 minutes to transfer. Then you can check your answers. Okay, so please utilize this time to read the next questions. This one.
Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a guide talking to a group of visitors to a farm. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Welcome to the Fiddy Working Heritage Farm. This open-air museum gives you the experience of agriculture and rural life in the English countryside at the end of the 19th century. So you'll see a typical farm of that period, and like me, all the staff are dressed in clothes of that time. I must give you some advice and safety tips before we go any further. As it's a working farm, please don't frighten or injure the animals. We have a lot here, and many of them are breeds that are now quite rare. And do stay at a safe distance from the tools. Some of them have sharp points, which can be pretty dangerous, so please don't touch them. We don't want any accidents, do we? The ground is very uneven, and you might slip if you're wearing sandals, so I'm glad to see you're all wearing shoes. We always advise people to do that. Now, children of all ages are very welcome here, and usually even very young children love the ducks and lambs, so do bring them along next time you come. I don't think any of you have brought dogs with you, but in case you have, I'm afraid they'll have to stay in the car park unless they're guide dogs. I'm sure you'll understand that they could cause a lot of problems on a farm.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
Guys, first of all, please note these questions so that I can fit this map to the screen. Okay, so please note these questions 15 to 20. Please write it down. ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్ని రాసేయండి సో దట్ నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే ఆ మ్యాప్ ఉంది కదా స్క్రీన్ కి ఫిట్ చేస్తాను. ఈ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్డర్ లో రాయండి 15 to 20. Scarecrow, maze, cafe, black barn, covered picnic area, foodie house. Just a question రాయండి అంతే. Okay. Yes. A is here, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay. So let's start. So I'll explain this question, first question, and remaining questions you have to do. First question is scarecrow. So now you have to locate where that scarecrow is. So just wait. So just look at questions 15 to 20. You have to look that map. Where is A? Where is the entrance? So this is main path, this is side path, new barn.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Now let me give you some idea of the layout of the farm. The building where you bought your tickets is the new barn immediately to your right. And we're now at the beginning of the main path to the farmland. And of course, the car park is on your left. The scarecrow you can see in the car park in the corner beside the main path is a traditional figure for keeping the...
So now, where is scarecrow? What is the answer for the first question? See here what he said. Scarecrow we can see in the car park, in the corner just beside the main path. Corner, where is corner? In the car park, corner just beside the main path. So the first answer is F. Here you have to write F. Okay, so this is called map. In this way you have to answer all the questions. You have to locate where is maze, where is cafe, where is black barn. Okay, please listen carefully and you have to write these letters. Don't forget, you have to write these letters. So the first answer is F. Okay, so next maze, next cafe. ఇవి ఆర్డర్ లోనే చెప్తారు. స్కేర్క్రో తర్వాతే మేజ్ చెప్తారు, దాని తర్వాతే కెఫే చెప్తారు. So need not to worry about this. So please concentrate on this. Okay. So next, first answer is F, guys.
birds away from crops. But our scarecrow is a permanent sculpture. It's taller than a human being, so you can see it from quite a distance. If you look ahead of you, you'll see a maze. It's opposite the new barn, beside the side path that branches off to the right, just over there. The maze is made out of hedges which are too tall for young children to see over them, but it's quite small, so you can't get lost in it. Now, can you see the bridge crossing the fish pool further up the main path? If you want to go to the cafe, go towards the bridge and turn right just before it. Walk along the side path and the cafe's on the first bend you come to. The building was originally the schoolhouse and it's well over 100 years old. As you may know, we run skills workshops here, where you can learn traditional crafts like woodwork and basket making. You can see examples of the work and talk to someone about the courses in the black barn. If you take the side path to the right, here, just by the new barn, you'll come to the black barn, just where the path first bends. Now, I mustn't forget to tell you about picnicking, as I can see some of you have brought your lunch with you. You can picnic in the field, though do clear up behind you, of course. Or if you'd prefer a covered picnic area, there's one near the farmyard, just after you cross the bridge. There's a covered picnic spot on the right. And the last thing to mention is Fiddy House itself. From here you can cross the bridge, then walk along the footpath through the field to the left of the farmyard. That goes to the house, and it'll give you a lovely view of it. It's certainly worth a few photographs, but as it's a private home, I'm afraid you can't go inside. Right, well, if you're all ready, we'll set off on our tour of the farm.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So no need to check the answers, just go to the next part and read the questions. So multiple choice questions, you have to read the questions before the recording starts. Because you can see here the options A, B, C. It's too lengthy, right? So you have to read the questions.
Now turn to section 3.
Now section 3. end. Don't leave any answer. Okay, just make a guess and just answer to that question. As I said, there is no negative marking in IELTS in all the modules. Okay. This multiple choice questions, you have to understand the question first. Okay, just please listen carefully.
Section 3. You will hear two psychology students called Lisa and Greg discussing a project they have to do. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27.
21 to 27.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
OK, Greg, so I finally managed to read the article you mentioned, the one about the study on gender in physics.
About the study of college students done by Akira Miyake and his team. Yeah, I was interested that the researchers were actually a mix of psychologists and physicists. That's an unusual combination.
Yeah, I got a little confused at first about which students the study was based on. They weren't actually majoring in physics, they were majoring in what's known as the STEM disciplines. That's science, technology, engineering and
math. Yes, but they were all doing physics courses as part of their studies.
That's correct. So, as I understood it, Miyake and co. started from the fact that women are underrepresented in introductory physics courses at college, and also that, on average, the women who do enrol on these courses perform more poorly than the men. No one really knows why this is the case.
Yeah, but what the researchers wanted to find out was basically what they could do about the relatively low level of the women's results. They needed to find out more about the nature of the problem.
Right. Now, let's see if I can remember. It was that in the physics class, the female students thought the male students all assumed that women weren't any good at physics. Was that it? And they thought that the men expected them to get poor results in their tests.
That's what the women thought, and that made them nervous, so they did get poor results. But actually, they were wrong. No one was making any assumptions about the female students at all.
Anyway, what Miyake's team did was quite simple, getting the students to do some writing before they went into the physics class. What did they call it?
Values affirmation. They had to write an essay focusing on things that were significant to them, not particularly to do with the subject they were studying, but more general things like music or people who mattered to them.
Right. So the idea of doing the writing is that this gets the students thinking in a positive way.
And putting these thoughts into words can relax them and help them overcome the psychological factors that lead to poor performance. Yeah. But what the researchers in the study hadn't expected was that this one activity raised the women's physics grades from the C to the B range.
A huge change. Pity it wasn't to an A, but still. No, but it does suggest that the women were seriously underperforming beforehand in comparison with the men.
Yes. Mind you, Miyake's article left out a lot of details, like did the students do the writing just once or several times? And had they been told why they were doing the writing? That might have affected the results.
You mean If they know the researchers thought it might help them to improve, then they just try to fulfill that expectation?
Exactly.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 28 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 28 to 30.
So anyway, I thought for our project we could do a similar study, but investigate whether it really was the writing activity that had that result.
OK, so we could ask them to do a writing task about something completely different, something more factual, like a general knowledge topic.
Maybe. Or we could have half the students doing a writing task and half doing something else, like an oral task.
Or even half do the same writing task as in the original research and half do a factual writing task. Then we'd see if it really is the topic that made the difference or something else.
That's it. Good. So, at our meeting with the supervisor on Monday, we can tell him we've decided on our project. We should have our aims ready by then. I suppose we need to read the original study. The article's just a summary.
And there was another article I read by Smolinski. It was about her research on how women and men perform in mixed teams in class, compared with single-sex teams and on their own.
Let me guess. The women were better at teamwork.
That's what I expected. But actually, the men and the women got the same results, whether they were working in teams or on their own. But I guess it's not that relevant to us.
What worries me, anyway, is how we're going to get everything done in the time.
We'll be okay now we know what we're doing. Though I'm not clear how we assess whether the students in our experiment actually make any progress or not.
No, we may need some advice on that. The main thing's to make sure we have the right size sample, not too big or too small.
That shouldn't be difficult. Right, what do we need to do next? We could have a look at the timetable for the science classes, or perhaps we should just make an appointment to see one of the science professors. That'd be better.
Great, and we could even get to observe one of the classes.
What for?
Well, OK, maybe let's just go with your idea. Right, well, I think that's everything for now.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of a student presentation about the variety of different species that live in the world's oceans. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
So you have to look all the questions 31 to 40.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
I've been looking at ocean biodiversity. That's the diversity of species that live in the world's oceans. About 20 years ago, biologists developed the idea of what they called biodiversity hotspots. These are the areas which have the greatest mixture of species. So one example is Madagascar. These hotspots are significant because they allow us to locate key areas for focusing efforts at conservation. Biologists can identify hotspots on land fairly easily, but until recently, very little was known about species distribution and diversity in the oceans, and no one even knew if hotspots existed there. Then a Canadian biologist called Boris Worm did some research in 2005 on data on ocean species that he got from the fishing industry. Worm located 5 hotspots for large ocean predators, like sharks, and looked at what they had in common. The main thing he'd expected to find was that they had very high concentrations of food, but to his surprise, that was only true for 4 of the hotspots. The remaining hotspot was quite badly off in that regard. But what he did find was that in all cases, the water at the surface of the ocean had relatively high temperatures, even when it was cool at greater depths. So this seemed to be a factor in supporting a diverse range of these large predators. However, this wasn't enough on its own, because he also found that the water needed to have enough oxygen in it. So these 2 factors seemed necessary to support the high metabolic rate of these large fish. A couple of years later, in 2007, a researcher called Lisa Balance, who was working in California, also started looking for ocean hotspots, but not for fish. What she was interested in was marine mammals, things like seals. And she found 3 places in the oceans which were hotspots, and what these had in common was that these hotspots were all located at boundaries between ocean currents. And this seems to be the sort of place that has lots of the plankton that some of these species feed on. So now people who want to protect the species that are endangered need to get as much information as possible. For example, there's an international project called the Census of Marine Life. They've been surveying oceans all over the world, including the Arctic. One thing they found there, which stunned other researchers, was that there were large numbers of species which live below the ice, sometimes under a layer up to 20 meters thick. Some of these species had never been seen before. They've even found species of octopus living in these conditions. And other scientists working on the same project but researching very different habitats on the ocean floor have found large numbers of species congregating around volcanoes, attracted to them by the warmth and nutrients there. However, biologists still don't know how serious the threat to their survival is for each individual species. So a body called the Global Marine Species Assessment is now creating a list of endangered species on land, so they consider things like the size of the population, how many members of one species there are in a particular place, and then they look at their distribution in geographical terms. Although this is quite difficult when you're looking at fish because they're so mobile. And then thirdly, they calculate the rate at which the decline of the species is happening. So far, only 1,500 species have been assessed, but they want to increase this figure to 20,000. For each one they assess, they use the data they collect on that species to produce a map showing its distribution. Ultimately, they will be able to use these to figure out not only where most species are located, but also where they are most threatened. So, finally, what can be done to retain the diversity of species in the world's oceans? Firstly, we need to set up more reserves in our oceans, places where marine species are protected. We have some, but not enough. In addition, to preserve species such as leatherback turtles, which live out in the high seas but have their nesting sites on the American coast, we need to create corridors for migration, so they can get from one area to another safely. As well as this, action needs to be taken to lower the levels of fishing quotas to prevent overfishing of endangered species. And finally, there's the problem of bycatch. This refers to the catching of unwanted fish by fishing boats. They're returned to the sea, but they're often dead or dying. If these commercial fishing boats used equipment which was more selective so that only the fish wanted for consumption were caught, this problem could be overcome. OK, so does anyone have any questions about...
Yes.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now you can check your answers because there is no other part, the next part. Check your spellings and don't leave any answers. Just make a guess. And after that, you have to transfer your answers to your answers.
That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
So,
Please stop writing and wait for your question booklet to be collected.
so now transfer your answers to your answer sheet or your mark sheet. And then you have to check your answers. When you are transferring, while you are transferring answers, then you have to check the spellings and everything. Okay. So let's check our answers. Ma'am, will a chart ఒకసారి చేస్తారా? Will questions ఏమన్నా? Okay. Ma'am, chat enable చేస్తారా? Hello. Ma'am, can you hear me? Hello. నా వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా అండి? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. చార్ట్ ఎనేబుల్ చేసా మ్యామ్ నేను.
చేసే ఉన్నారా? ఓకే.
Yes, ma'am.
సో ఒకసారి ఆన్సర్స్ చెక్ చేయండి. Guys, check your answers. Section 1, first answer is Charlton. Charlton. Check your spellings. Charlton. Charlton. Next, 115. So you should not write this 115. Why? Because in first section you have to write only one word, right? One word. So you have to write only this, or you can use a number. So just this is correct. 115 is correct. Don't write this. And third one, cash. CASH. Next, parking, P-A-R-K-I-N-G, parking. Next, music, M-U-S-I-C, music. Next, E-N-T-R-Y, entry. S-T-A-G-E, stage. C-O-D-E, code. Floor, F-L-O-O-R, floor. Decoration, D-E-C-O-R-A-T-I-O-N, decoration. Section 2, animal. Animals, I think, animals. It is not animal, it is animals. Next, tools, T-O-O-L-S, tools. Shoes, S-H-O-E-S, shoes. Dogs, D-O-G-S, dogs. Ma'am, వీళ్ళు ఏం క్వశ్చన్స్ చూస్తారా ఒకసారి? బికాజ్ మనకి 210 మెంబర్స్ ఉండేవాళ్ళు కదా, ఇప్పుడు 180 ఉన్నారు.
181 ఉన్నారు మ్యామ్.
ఇది కనిపిస్తుందా?
కనిపిస్తుంది మ్యామ్, బాగా కనిపిస్తుంది.
షూస్, జాగ్స్, 15F, 16G, 17D, 18H, 19C, 20A, FGD, HCA. Next, multiple choice question, section 3. C, B, B, 24th C, 25th A, 26th B, 27C, 28A, 29B, 38A. Section 4, 31, conservation, C-O-N-S-E-R-V-A-T-I-O-N, conservation. 32, food, food, F-O-O-D, food. Foods is wrong, food. 33, surface. 34, oxygen. 35, mammals, M-A-M-M-A-L-S. 36, ice. 37, decline. It is not declining or decrease. You have to write decline, D-E-C-L-I-N-E, decline. 38, map. 39, migration. 40th, consumption. Consumption. So out of 40 questions, how much you got? Out of 40. Wow, it's a good score. Can we write decline? No, decline. Just provide question paper or just questions are just. Can you send us question? Yes. Guys, I'll send you this question PDF and also audio file today itself. So you can practice again. Can we write? What is that? S-C-A-N-L-E-S. Instead of shoes, no. You have to write shoes, S-H-O-E-S, shoes. Map. Guys, tomorrow I will explain map and also multiple choice questions. Okay. Okay. If you got 12 or 16, not a problem, as it's a first time, as it's your first exam, you'll be improved, no problem. How different, so how different. Telegram, I'll send a telegram. You can expect all this material on Saturday or Friday on eLearnock website. eLearnock website. It's okay. 11, you'll be improved, not a problem. Yes, MCQ sections is a bit tricky. So because they'll discuss all the options, they'll discuss about all the option A, B, and C. So you have to be careful. Just you have to relate that options with the questions. It is very important. Tomorrow I will explain clearly. No need to worry about that, guys. Word of the day today. I'd like to post all that words in our Telegram group. I mean, 5 words or 10 words. Okay. Tomorrow there is no holiday. Saturday is holiday, I guess. Ma'am, naku Saturday holiday unda?
నేను టెలిగ్రామ్ లో అప్డేట్ చేస్తాం మ్యామ్.
Okay.
హాలిడే
Yes.
లేదు.
Festival అనుకుంటా.
Yes ma'am.
But
22nd.
tomorrow,
Tomorrow is working day now.
tomorrow is we have class here because I will explain these questions. ఈ 40 questions మీకు ఎలా రాంగ్ అయ్యాయో తెలియాలి కదా, నేను రేపు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. It's highly tough task to find answers while recording. Yes, tomorrow I will explain. Tomorrow I'll explain the tips and ఎక్కడ రాంగ్ అవుతుంది, ఎలా రాంగ్ అవుతుంది అని కూడా నేను రేపు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. టెలిగ్రామ్ గ్రూప్ లో యాడ్ అవ్వడానికి మ్యామ్ లింక్ పెట్టారు, చూడండి ఒకసారి. సండే క్లాస్ ఉండదు. హౌ డెడికేటెడ్ యు ఆర్ ఇందు గారు. మై వాయిస్ ఇస్ స్లో. మీకే వినిపిస్తుందా, అందరికీ అట్లానే వినిపిస్తుందా? ఆల్రెడీ మై వాయిస్ ఇస్ టూ స్లో, ఐ నో దాట్. బట్ అంటే స్లోగా అంటే అర్థం అవుతుందా? ఇట్స్ ఆడిబుల్. ఐ థింక్ మీకు నెట్వర్క్ ఇష్యూస్ ఉన్నట్టున్నాయండి. వాయిస్ వినబడుతుందా? ఆడిబుల్ అయితే సరిపోతుంది, బికాజ్ ఐ క్యాన్ చేంజ్ మై వాయిస్. నాకు ఇలానే ఉండిపోయింది వాయిస్. ఎస్. Okay guys, the link which you sent earlier isn't working. What is that link? Is it eLearnock or about Telegram? Karthik? BSc students, if you are planning for abroad, if you want to study in abroad, you have to write IELTS. లేదా ఇండియాలోనే ఇక్కడే అనుకుంటే కనుక యూ కెన్ ఎన్హాన్స్ యువర్ స్కిల్స్, ఇంగ్లీష్ స్కిల్స్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ నెసెసరీ టు ఫిల్ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్? ఎస్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నెసెసరీ. మాకు తెలియాలి కదా ఏ డే క్లాస్ ఎట్లా ఉంది అని. Too lengthy to concentrate, madam. You will be, but we have to. Vamsi Krishna, as it's too lengthy, but we have to answer all the questions, right? 40 questions. ఇంకా తప్పించుకునేది ఏమీ లేదు, మొత్తం వినాల్సిందే. బట్ ఇది ఫస్ట్ టైం కాబట్టి మీకు అలా అనిపించింది. నెక్స్ట్ మీకు అలవాటు అయిపోతుంది, ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసే కొద్దీ వినడానికి బాగుంటుంది మీకు. ఓకే, టెలిగ్రామ్ లింక్ పంపిస్తారు, మ్యామ్ పంపిస్తారు టెలిగ్రామ్ లింక్. గైస్ ప్లీజ్ టెలిగ్రామ్ లోని కానీ eLearnock వెబ్సైట్ లో కానీ ఇంకా ఎవరు రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వకపోతే ప్లీజ్ అవ్వండి, రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వండి. ఈరోజు అయితే నేను ఇప్పుడు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసిన ఈ టాస్క్ అనేది నేను పోస్ట్ చేస్తాను. మీరు మళ్ళీ విని మళ్ళీ రాయొచ్చు. ఓకేనా? మళ్ళీ రాసిన వాళ్ళు కూడా నాకు చెప్పండి ఎంత వచ్చింది, ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ ఏమైనా వచ్చిందా లేదా అనేది. ఓకే, I have doubt. Tell me, Indu. Yes, Satya. My name is Satya. Word of the day. I'll post on this not Telegram. నేను ఈరోజు 10 words నేను ఇద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. అది దాంట్లో సెంటెన్స్ తో సహా నేను పెడతాను. Indu, what's your doubt?
But when it comes to the names of the foreigners, it's still different.
Manikanta. 36. Oh, great. Answers also for this. Answers నేను ఆల్రెడీ ఇచ్చాను కదా. కరెక్షన్ చేసుకోలేదా అజయ్ కుమార్? టెలిగ్రామ్లోనా మీరు అడిగేది? ఆన్సర్స్ కూడా నేను ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను. నేను ఆన్సర్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను. ఐ విల్. Listening, and for other 3 sections, separate papers. Yes, listening, booklet and reading. It's all a mock test. Mock test la untundi. Papers wise untundi annamata. OMR sheet అయితే సెపరేట్ గా ఇస్తారు. లిస్నింగ్ కి ఇట్ సైడ్, రీడింగ్ కి ఇట్ సైడ్ ఇస్తారు. OMR షీట్ అయితే నేను చూపిస్తానండి మీకు. ఎగ్జామ్ ఎప్పుడు? వాట్ ఎగ్జామ్? విచ్ ఎగ్జామ్? How much we should get score? Hey, yes. Who's that answer? Mahesh Krishna. So just wait. If you are academic, let me show you the score chart again. Just wait. Score chart చూపిస్తాను. మీకు ఎంత స్కోర్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అనేది మీకు తెలుస్తుంది. Guys, see here. This is your listening score chart. So compare చేయండి band scores ని. If you are మళ్ళీ నేను రిపీట్ చేస్తున్నారు. If you are academic, you need to get no band less than 6. Academic అయితే 6 కంపల్సరీ ఉండాలి. మినిమం 6 ఉండాలి. So out of 40 questions, you need to get 23 to 25 right answers. If you are general, you need to get the minimum score you need to have is 8 band. 35 to 36 right answers out of 40. So this is your listening score chart. Okay. If you want me to post this, I will. Telegram. Even మీకు Google లో ఉంటాయండి చూడండి. Listening. Okay. Thanks for the question. Can I attend tomorrow? Yes, there is a class. You have to attend tomorrow. We will take screenshots. Ma'am, I can't able to sleep. Huh? Why? Regarding IELTS, Telegram link is not working. Just check again, Madhavi garu. It's working. No? Yes, any questions? Any questions? No, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, what to do is open link in the Telegram. Yes, it's working. You can, ma'am, can I attend? Guys, you have to attend tomorrow because ఈ రోజు మీకు ఏవైతే మిస్టేక్స్ అయ్యాయో అవి ఎలా అయ్యాయి కూడా నేను రేపు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ప్లీజ్ టు అటెండ్ టుమారో గైస్, ప్లీజ్. మెటీరియల్స్ ఫ్రైడే ఆర్ సాటర్డే ఇస్తాను మీకు అన్ని మెటీరియల్స్ కూడా. ఎస్, if it is possible, I will upload in this Telegram, or else on that e-learner website. All the materials. No need to worry about that, guys. Certificate provide చేస్తారు మ్యామ్ చేస్తారు.
యా
Yes.
అట్ ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద కోర్స్ మీరు క్వాలిఫై అయితే చేస్తాం. క్వాలిఫై అయితే ఎస్.
క్వాలిఫై అవ్వాలా అందరూ. నా పేరు నిలబెట్టాలా. We can, ma'am. Very good. Yes. This Telegram or e-learner website.
Unmute.
Telegram link is opening. Just try again, guys. Won't work in same systems. In this case, copy the link in chat and send it to your phone through system or WhatsApp. See, Rajesh Shri, she had that solution. So please see that. If the link is not working, you can copy that link and you can open in your phone through Telegram. Score by attending further classes. Very, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're really dedicated and very good students. Exam at the end of the course? Yes. After completion of all the 4 modules, you'll be having examination in all the 4 modules, a full test. Can you score in final exam? How many marks we can score? It depends on you. Shravani, dear, it depends on you. నువ్వు ఎంత బాగా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తే అంత మంచి మార్క్స్ వస్తాయి నీకు. సో ఇఫ్ యూ మిస్ టుడేస్ క్లాస్, నేను అది ఈ రోజు జరిగిన క్లాస్ అనేది నేను పోస్ట్ చేస్తాను టెలిగ్రామ్లో. మీరు మళ్ళీ చేయండి. చేసి ఆన్సర్స్ ఎంత చేయో నాకు చెప్పండి. క్వాలిఫై అవ్వడానిక? క్వాలిఫై అవ్వడానికి యాజ్ ఎ సెడ్ మ్యామ్ మన టెస్ట్ అడుగుతున్నారా వీళ్ళు, లేకపోతే
అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ రోజు జరిగిన టెస్ట్ అయితే మనకి క్వాలిఫికేషన్ క్వాలిఫైడ్ అలా ఏం లేదు మ్యామ్. ఫైనల్ టెస్ట్ కి అయితే క్వాలిఫై అయిన వాళ్ళకి సర్టిఫికెట్ ఇస్తాం మనం.
వాళ్ళు ఫైనల్ టెస్ట్ గురించి అడుగుతున్నారా? ఫైనల్ టెస్ట్ అయితే if you are academic, same. If you are academic అయితే 6.5 with no band less than 6. General అయితే 8,777. దాన్ని బట్టి సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇస్తాం. మినిమం అయితే 6.5 with no band less than 6. Will you conduct exam immediately after 30 days? Yes, but you need some practice, right? మ్యామ్ ఎప్పుడు ఎగ్జామ్ కండక్ట్ చేస్తాము అనేది మ్యామ్ షెడ్యూల్ ఇస్తారు, దాన్ని బట్టి చూద్దాం. థర్స్డే మీరు బ్యాండ్స్ గురించి చెప్పారు కదా, ప్లీజ్ రిపీట్ ఇట్. బ్యాండ్స్ గురించి వాట్ ఈస్ సైట్ 6.5 విత్ నో బ్యాండ్ లెస్ దెన్ 6 రావాలి అకాడమిక్ వాళ్ళకి. 7.5 8,777 జనరల్ వాళ్ళకి రావాలి. రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వట్లేదా? అయ్యో, హూ ఇస్ దట్? సంధ్య రాణి.
Ma'am, from EG, S. Manikanta has raised his hand. I'm unmuting.
Oh, Sandhya
I think
garu edo
he has
question
a doubt.
adigaranta. Yes, please. Hi, Manikanta.
Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you, Manikanta.
I had 2 significant questions. I don't know whether they make sense.
Yes, please.
After we listen to the audio, we are able to guess some of the words because some of the English words are universal. But when it comes to the names of the foreigners, it's difficult for us to guess their names. But after the completion of the audio, how do they expect us to write their names without making any spelling mistakes, ma'am?
So if it is a name, they'll spell it. For example, in this today's session, there is a name called Charlton, right? Charlton. So compulsory they'll spell that sort of names or any yes, names, of course, names.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And my second question is, we have speaking as one of the significant parts in IELTS exam. Then how are you going to manage that fun? Because in speaking test, we'll be asked to speak about a topic without having a person just against to us. How do we speak? How are you going to manage that fun?
As we have a lot of students here in this AP skill development, so I can choose only 3 or 4 students, Manikanta, because we can't take mocks to all the students, all 200 students, right? So you have to practice that. But I'll provide all the sources that you can prefer, and you can, it's really give a lot of practice to you, also vocabulary words and also linkers that you have to use in your speaking. Okay, but we can't take speaking to all the students, right? I hope you understand, Malikanta.
And just remember, what if the students who are always willing to speak, and if they miss the chance to speak, and
So how can we do?
yes, maybe it's
But
difficult for
yes,
you to.
it's, yes, we can't manage, right? So, but I'll take only students, I think 5 or 6 students or 3 or 4 students on that day.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Malikanta. Thank you. Thank you. సో నేను ఎవరో క్వశ్చన్స్ కి ఆన్సర్ చేయలేదు అన్నారు, ఎవరు వాళ్ళు? Exam fee is 13,000. Now I think it is 13,250. Now I think it is 14,000, around 14,000. No, 13,000. It's not 12,000. It's 13,000.
మ్యామ్ అనంతపూర్ నుంచి పి పవిత్ర డౌట్ కోసం హ్యాండ్ రైజ్ చేసింది. నేను అన్మ్యూట్ చేశాను.
Yes, hi Pavitra garu.
వస్తున్నాను మేడం.
హాయ్ మ్యామ్.
మేడం పార్టిసిపేషన్ సర్టిఫికేట్ ఏమైనా ఉంటుందా మేడం?
ఉంటుందండి. ఉంటుందో లేదో మ్యామ్, ఉంటుందా అండి?
అర్థం కాలేదు మ్యామ్ నాకు.
పార్టిసిపెంట్ సర్టిఫికేట్ అంటే వీళ్ళు పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసినందుకు సర్టిఫికేట్ ఏమన్నా ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తారా మీరు?
లేదు మ్యామ్, క్వాలిఫై అయినందుకు ఎగ్జామ్ క్వాలిఫై అయితేనే చేస్తాం.
ఓకే, ఎగ్జామ్ ఇప్పుడు విన్న వాటికి ఎగ్జామ్ క్వాలిఫై అయితే మీకు సర్టిఫికేట్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తారంట.
అవునా మేడం? ఎగ్జామ్ ఫీజ్ 12,000 అలా ఉంటుందా మేడం? 14,000?
అయ్యో,
ఇది డిఫరెంట్ మిక్స్ అయిపోతుంది మొత్తం క్వశ్చన్స్.
కాదు మ్యామ్, మేము కండక్ట్ చేసే దానికి ఏమి ఛార్జ్ చెయ్యమండి. మీరు అబ్రాడ్ వెళ్ళాలి అనుకుంటే ఎగ్జామ్ రాయాలి కదా, ఐఎల్స్ ఎగ్జామ్, అప్పుడు మీరు పే చేయాలి, వాళ్ళకి పే చేయాల్సిన అమౌంట్ అది. మేము ఇప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేసే ఎగ్జామ్ అయితే ఇట్స్ ఫ్రీ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ కంప్లీట్లీ. మీకు ఏమి
ఏపీఎస్ఎస్డిసి ద్వారా జరిగే కోర్సెస్ అన్ని ఫ్రీ ఆఫ్ కాస్ట్ అండి.
మీరు పెట్టే ఎగ్జామ్ మేము క్వాలిఫై అయితే సర్టిఫికేట్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తారా మేడం?
ఇప్పుడు ఏపీఎస్ఎస్డిసి పెట్టే ఈ కోర్స్ ఐఎల్టీసీ కోర్స్ క్వాలిఫై అయితే సర్టిఫికేట్ ఇస్తాం.
ఓకే మేడం, ఓకే మేడం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సుమలత, యూ కెన్, సుమలత గారు, you can quit. No, not a problem. So if you have any questions, you can stay, or else you can leave.
యా, యువరాజ్, యువరాజ్ అండ్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ నేమ్ మార్చుకోలేదండి. యువరాజ్ గారు మాట్లాడండి. ఆర్ఆర్ రాకేష్ రెడ్డి ఆల్సో రైజ్డ్ హిస్ హ్యాండ్. మీరు కూడా డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ నేమ్ పెట్టలేదండి, నాట్ ఫేర్. చెప్పండి, డౌట్స్ ఏంటో అడగండి.
Yeah, ma'am. Good afternoon, first of all. I have a small doubt that today.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, Rakesh. Yes, tell me.
Okay. When I used to speak with my friend, he used to say that some people not used to say that when we write an exam in IDP or British Council, there is any difference between writing the exam?
So question paper is gonna same for both IDP and British Council. Both are same. But
sir, comments that when
sorry?
we usually score a good band when we write an exam in British Council. So
Some people they believe in that way. In British Council, it helps you with your speaking, and the main difference is if it is IDP, you can select your speaking slot as your wish. So in case of British Council, they'll give you a speaking slot. So this is the main difference. But question paper is gonna same for both IDP and British Council. But as you said, British. Yes.
One of my Abhishek, he has done his IELTS exam last year. He had written his IELTS exam.
Your voice is breaking, Rakesh garu.
Okay, 1 minute. So, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
So, when he first attempted his IELTS exam in IDP, he scored around 5.5 in speaking. I definitely hope he's a very good speaker because from childhood he studied in international schools. So he scored 5.5 in IDP. But at the same time, after next month, he attempted his exam British Council. He got a band of 8 speaking.
Oh, that much difference.
Yes. So he said definitely don't choose IDP. Better go to British Council.
Okay. So you suggest that don't choose IDP. It's better to choose British Council, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. And yes, it's very useful. But okay. Yes, it's your personal experience. Yes. So guys, there are two streams in this IELTS. One is IDP and other one is British Council. Okay. So both are same, but in IDP, students, the students are saying is, in speaking they are getting very least marks. But if it is British Council, it's really helpful for them in getting more marks in speaking. Okay. So the personal suggestion is you can choose British Council rather than IDP. Okay. Is that Rakesh? Is it? Or any further questions? Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Because all of people the British Council as their exam.
Okay.
For IELTS.
Okay. So it's better to choose British Council, right? Okay. Thank you so much, Rakesh. Thank you.
Madam, this is Ram Suri from West Godavari. Hello?
Hi, even I'm from West Godavari. Hi, hello.
నేను మెడికల్ ప్రొఫెషన్ మేడం. ఐఎమ్ డన్ జాబ్ విత్ మెడికల్ ల్యాబ్ టెక్నాలజీస్. సో నేను అబ్రాడ్ ప్లాన్ చేయడానికి IELTS కోర్స్ ఇంతకుముందు నేను ట్రై చేశాను మేడం. అంటే క్రాక్ చేయలేకపోయాను.
ఓకే, హౌ మచ్ యు గాట్?
అది 4.5 అలా వచ్చింది మేడం బ్యాండ్. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ నేను కోచింగ్ తీసుకొని, అంటే కోచింగ్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, ఆన్లైన్లో మీ ద్వారానే కోచింగ్ తీసుకొని నేను మళ్ళీ ట్రై చేస్తాను మేడం. అదే మీరు చెప్పేవన్నీ బాగానే ఉన్నాయి. బట్ ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ వచ్చేది మనం క్వశ్చన్ ఏమంటారు, ప్యాటర్న్స్ ఉన్న ఈ 4-5 ప్యాటర్న్స్ కూడా అంటే డైరెక్ట్ గా మనం అటెంప్ట్ చేస్తేనే కానీ అవగాహన ఉండదండి. సో అందుకనే మీరు ఏమైనా క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ కానీ లేదంటే లింక్స్ కానీ ఇస్తే మేము డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకొని.
మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయకుండా అయితే ఇప్పుడు మనం అన్ని ప్యాటర్న్ ఫస్ట్ రెండు ఇంపార్టెంట్. నీకు అంతా ప్యాటర్న్ అంతా తెలిసి ఉండాలి, యాజ్ వెల్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు ప్రాక్టీస్ యాజ్ వెల్. రెండు ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో ప్యాటర్న్ ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్తుంది అన్ని మీరు నోట్ చేసుకుని, నేను తర్వాత కంపల్సరీ అందరూ అడుగుతున్న క్వశ్చన్ ఇదే, మెటీరియల్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయండి. మెటీరియల్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయకుండా మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయలేరు కాబట్టి కంపల్సరీ మీరు మెటీరియల్స్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాం. బట్ ప్లీజ్ వెయిట్, రేపు కానీ ఎల్లుండి కానీ కంపల్సరీ మీకు మెటీరియల్స్ అనేది మాక్ టెస్ట్ అన్ని.
నేను కూడా డిఫరెంట్ సైట్స్ లో నేను ఈ రార్ ఫైల్స్ కానీ ఇవన్నీ ఉందంటే వేరే ప్రీవియస్ గా అడిగిన బ్రిటిష్ కౌన్సిల్ వాళ్ళు అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ కానీ అంటే ఫైల్స్ కానీ ఉన్నాయి మేడం. అవి కూడా మన లో పెట్టమంటే పెడతాం మేడం.
ఓకేనండి, పెట్టండి. మన స్టూడెంట్స్ కి అది యూజ్ IELTS అంటే
అప్డేటెడ్ మీ దగ్గర ఉంటాయేమోనని నేను
నేను అదే అప్డేటెడ్ అన్నీ నేను కూడా పెడతానండి, అవన్నీ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేదురు కానీ. సో ప్లీజ్ మెయిన్ థింగ్ ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నవన్నీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు పుట్ ఇన్ టు ప్రాక్టీస్. ఓకే, ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి మీరు ఏంటంటే మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ తో కానీ కూడా మీరు ఇంగ్లీష్ లో కమ్యూనికేట్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేయండి, ఎక్కువ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. సో బికాస్ ఎందుకు అంటే ఇంగ్లీష్ అని ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఐఎల్స్, ఈవెన్ ఐఎల్స్ ఎగ్జామ్ ఇస్ నాట్ సబ్జెక్ట్, రైట్? ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్ మనం ఇది మన ఇంటర్మీడియట్ లాగా, అదే డిగ్రీ లాగా, బీటెక్ లాగా ఇవి చదివితే ఈ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ చదివితే బోల్డ్ మార్క్స్ వస్తాయి అని ఉండదు. అసలు ఐఎల్స్ అలా ఉండదు. ఇట్స్ ఎ లాంగ్వేజ్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు లెర్న్ ఇట్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ హార్ట్. ఓకే, సో దానికి చాలా సోర్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి. ఓన్లీ ఐఎల్స్ అనే కదా పెట్టుకోకుండా మీరు, నేను ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పాను, ఇంగ్లీష్ మూవీస్ చూడండి, ఇంగ్లీష్ సాంగ్స్ వినండి, ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడుతూ ఉండండి. ఇవన్నీ ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకుంటే ఐఎల్స్ ఇంప్రూవ్ అవుతుంది మీకు. వితౌట్ ఇవన్నీ ఇంప్రూవ్ అవ్వకుండా ఐఎల్స్ ఇంప్రూవ్ నేను ఎంత చెప్పినా, మీరు ఎన్ని ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, కోచింగ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్, అవన్నీ వేస్ట్ అయిపోతాయి. వీళ్ళు సరిగా చెప్పట్లేదు అనే మాట ఉంటుంది కానీ ఇంకా ఏది ఉండదు. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఇంప్రూవ్ అదర్ స్కిల్స్. లాంగ్వేజ్ ని ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకుంటే అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఐఎల్స్ ఈజీ అయిపోతుంది మీకు.
అవును మేడం, అంటే రైటింగ్ ప్యాటర్న్ లోనే కొంచెం ఇబ్బంది పడుతున్నాం మేడం.
రైటింగ్ ఏంటంటే రైటింగ్ ఈస్ కంప్లీట్లీ డిఫరెంట్. స్పీకింగ్ స్టైల్ ఈస్ కంప్లీట్లీ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ రైటింగ్ స్టైల్, రైట్? మనం ఎంత బాగా మాట్లాడినా కూడా రైటింగ్ లో పర్ఫెక్షన్ చూపించలేము. బాగా మాట్లాడిన వాళ్ళు రైటింగ్ బాగా రాస్తారని రూల్ ఏం లేదు కదా. సో అందుకే మీరు ఏంటంటే కాంప్లెక్స్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ యూజ్ చేయాలి రైటింగ్ లో.
సెంటెన్స్ ఫార్మేషన్
చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అది. అవన్నీ ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోగలిగితే మీకు వస్తుందండి స్కోర్. అండ్ మీకు రావాలని కూడా కోరుకుంటున్నాను. అబ్రాడ్ వెళ్తారు.
అవును మేడం, ఖచ్చితంగా.
థాంక్యూ సో మచ్.
అయితే ఇందులో ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోగలం మేడం, అంటే మీరు పెట్టే టెస్ట్ లో ఇంప్రూవ్ అయితే చేసుకోగలం. కానీ మెయిన్ బ్రిటిష్ కౌన్సిల్ లో పెట్టే ఐఎల్టీఎస్ ఎగ్జామ్ లో మాత్రమే కొంచెం ఇబ్బందిగా ఉంటుంది. అది కూడా గెయిన్ చేయాలని కోరుకుంటున్నాను.
దీంతో పాటుగా మీరు ఇంకా స్కిల్స్ ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవడానికి చూడండి, ఇంగ్లీష్ స్కిల్స్, కమ్యూనికేషన్.
ఓకే, థాంక్యూ.
ఓకే,
థాంక్యూ మేడం.
yes, thank you guys, thank you so much and bye bye. It's 12:40 and ma'am, sorry ఎక్కువ టైం తీసేసుకున్నాను.
పర్లేదు మ్యామ్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Bye.
Participants got an valuable suggestions and tips also. So
thank you. ఇంకా చెప్తామండి, వెళ్ళు 30 days ఉంది కదా మనకి, ఇంకా 20 days చెప్తాం. ఓకే మ్యామ్, బాయ్.
ఓకే మ్యామ్, బాయ్. బాయ్ గైస్.
Bye guys.